Ryan Reynolds has finally won after years of campaigning. He and Hugh Jackman will team up in the new Deadpool movie. But that is not why we're here, right? Wolverine, Logan, James Howlett, or however you'd like to call it. This guy is back, and nobody thought that this might happen after the character heroically died in 2017's Logan. So does this mean that there is another Logan movie on the horizon? Stay with me until the end and find out. Now, let's kick off with a short recap. Once again, Hugh Jackman has been convinced to return to his much-loved mutant character. So if in your head you had the question if Logan still matters, this answer is hell yeah. In his most recent interview for Screen Rant, Logan director James Mangold said, "Oh my gosh, everybody chills. Just kidding, I'm all good. Logan will always be there. Multiverse or prequel, time warp or wormhole, canon or non-canon, or even without a rationale. I cannot wait to see what madness my dear friends Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman cook up." Now, while the audience celebrates the return of the character and the same actor, some people have already started talking about the Logan sequel. Yes, another solo movie. In the 2000s X-Men movie, with the ability to retract claws from his hands, Jackman brought this role of Logan, and then he would carry the role of Logan/Wolverine through 9 films. Nothing is over in superhero movies, and taking in mind what Logan has delivered to the superhero genre over the last decade, that's the reason why this character is so special and unique. It became both classic and groundbreaking just because it feels different than a modern superhero movie, especially those with the Marvel brand. Just saying. I don't want to dissect the flaws of DC and Marvel brands, but with those final acts composed almost entirely of apocalyptic explosions, it's undeniable that the modern superhero movie has relied on CGI. And don't get me wrong here, there are some amazing movies out there. But doesn't it feel like they're like previews for the next movie other than experiencing the only one that you're watching? So here, Logan is much different. So instead of just computer-generated effects, its fights and choreography are fluid and gorgeous, and it has stakes that feel real. It's not just great for a superhero movie, but it also has characters about whom you care and with which you can identify, including a scene in which the characters watch the film. Logan calls back directly to Shane, but as Roger Ebert would like to say, it has more echoes of late career films for icons, such as Unforgiven and The Shootist. Logan is a gunslinger, forced to put away his 6-shooters, a real Western archetype who is trying to live out his days as routinely as possible. To make it more clear, the uncanny X-Men comics exist, but in this world, he is like a retired sports hero or celebrity. Everybody recognizes him, but he is not that important anymore. Some sort of a Bill Russell thing. The year is 2029, and mutants have been removed from the human bloodline, which means that the non-Nigerian Professor X and the creaky Logan are the end of an era. Logan is working as a driver near the Tex-Mex border when the movie opens. This movie is showing us what happens when the superheroes get old. He is a semi-functioning alcoholic with a very aging patriarch beard, with muscle pains and fading eyesight. He is actually living in Mexico with Professor Xavier in a wrecked water tower. The professor is hitting that like button just like you should if you haven't done so already. No, really, he is in his 90s, seeking for meds from the black market to prevent brain seizures, which, to make the movie more interesting, causes telekinetic earthquakes all around him. Oh yes, and he resents people calling him an octogenarian. But I'll stop here and I'll give you a chance to rewatch the movie and prepare for what is coming up next. Now, let's talk about the potential release date and the cast list. After the announcement that Wolverine is coming back and the strange video that Mangold shared, his huge fan base almost immediately began reacting with comments that ranged from the accusatory, "Logan was never canon to anything since they said a mutant hadn't been born in 20 years. You were not the final word on Wolverine. Anything is possible in the multiverse," and many more. So Mangold was forced to give some answers. Oh my gosh, everybody chill. Just kidding, I'm all good. Logan will always be there. Multiverse or prequel, time warp or wormhole, canon or non-canon, or even without a rationale, answered Mangold on Twitter. So now that everybody is talking about the new Deadpool movie, it feels like we forgot what was promised to us. But don't worry, even though there is no official release date as of yet, Logan's sequel is definitely on the horizon. Whether that will be a story that will follow Laura or the original character, this movie will happen. But it seems like we'll have to wait for official statements. Either way, I'll keep you updated. But you'll ask how I know that there will be another Logan, and that's totally fine. Well, let's put it this way. Logan is the best reviewed movie in the X-Men franchise, and with that financial success of $619.2 million worldwide, it's a surprise they've waited this long. As mentioned before, Logan wasn't afraid to be bold and true to its origins, and the movie stands apart as an X-Men movie. Writers Michael Green, James Mangold, and Scott Frank created an Oscar-nominated screenplay, allowing Wolverine to be his most reliable human self. The ending was perfect, especially for a beloved character like this, making a huge sacrifice, creating a legend for his name and his legacy onto another beloved character. We are now talking about the next Logan movie, but in fact, the news of his return was a jolt to some fans, taking in mind that we cried X-jet-sized tears at his demise. So this means that we love to see more of Wolverine, but we are scared that we might ruin the picture. And who will be part of that cast list in the new movie? That's not something I can tell you right now, since we don't have any official information. But it all depends on the story this movie is going to have. So if it follows Laura, then there is a huge possibility that Daphne Keane will be back to reprise the role. And even if this is the main plot, there might be some appearances of Hugh Jackman as well, maybe as a flashback or a memory, who knows? Now, the main question, what will be the main focus of the movie? Okay, there are many theories, but I'll start with the most possible theory. And in this one, Laura will smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. No, really, in all seriousness now, she will be under the spotlight, according to this theory. In a 2005 comic run by Chris Yost, X-23's origin story was fully explored, but she first appeared in an issue of NYX by Joe Quesada a year before, in 2004. Maintaining rocky relationships with other mutants, she typically has a hot temper across comic book titles. The very reach-back story, and now with the legacy of Logan as a wind in the back, this might be the most appropriate story for the sequel. Also, the reason why I'm pushing on this topic is that Logan died in the previous movie, but you'll say he is returning in Deadpool now. That would be a fair question, but is he though? Is he really returning? Think about that. Logan was set in 2029, and these Deadpool events are somewhere between 2022 and 2027. So I don't want to be a party breaker here, but let's give Daphne her space to shine. Before I finish here, I want to share one more thing. There is one more theory that suggests Doctor Strange 2's multiverse events cause Professor X's Logan dementia. It's really hard to explain this, but let's give it some time and we'll see. Either way, whatever the plot may be, or whoever takes the role of the main protagonist, I just hope to see this movie as soon as possible. And what about you? What is your opinion? Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.